Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. Coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, we'll talk about Hurricane Ernesto as it nears Bermuda. We've got a weekend coming up, and it looks like we're going to be dealing with some showers and thunderstorms. And we'll have a peek at early next week. That's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is going to have a later start than usual. We will be starting tonight at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time, and that time is approximate. It might be put back a little bit later than that, but not much later. So, checking out the watches and warnings, it's fairly quiet across the United States at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Looking at heat advisories in the lower Mississippi Valley and along the Gulf Coast, some fog and air quality issues up in northern Maine. We've got heat advisories in South Florida, but with respect to at least severe weather at the moment, we don't have any severe thunderstorm watches up. And here's what the satellite looks like. I want to call attention to three issues here that we have. Of course, we've got the standout, which is Ernesto, and it is holding its own. Probably going to strengthen a little bit more, even though there's some drier air that's gotten entrained into the circulation. The second system that I want to point out is the one in the upper Mississippi Valley. That is producing showers and some thunderstorms. You can see the lightning strikes from earlier today, and they're going to fire up some more later this afternoon and into this evening. The third system is right here up in northern New England. Kind of an interesting little system here. You see those lightning strikes in southern Maine from a batch of thunderstorms that moved through earlier. And this trough that is running in the eastern part of Canada is pulling Ernesto northward and northeastward toward Bermuda. It's going to pull out to the east, and then we've got this second trough here that's going to be moving in for the weekend. That'll ultimately be the one that picks up Ernesto and takes it up and out to the northeast. Looks like it'll go south of Nova Scotia by a fair distance, but close. And it might come close to Eastern Newfoundland over the weekend. But with Ernesto out there, this trough that's to our west is going to have a tough time moving eastward. So it's going to take a few days for that weather system to play through once it gets here. In the meantime, on the radar, you can see these thunderstorms moving southward in Maine. Not much going on at all, though, in New York State, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, and down the rest of the eastern seaboard. And then you have showers running through the lower Great Lakes and into the Ohio Valley, and those extend upward into Minnesota and back into North Dakota. This is that next upper trough that's moving into the east for the weekend, and it's the one that's going to trigger off some severe weather tonight in parts of the Midwest. As we look at the Storm Prediction Center, marginal to slight risk in the middle and upper Mississippi Valley to the lower Great Lakes. That comes with a 2% tornado risk. We also have SPC adding an area of marginal risk for some isolated severe thunderstorms this afternoon in New England, in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and back to eastern New York. And that's that little trough that's extending southwestward from eastern Canada down into New England, and also a marginal risk up in the northern Rockies. And for tomorrow, we're looking at marginal risk from the lower lakes through the Ohio Valley and then across the middle Mississippi Valley back into parts of the Central Plains. Might add a slight risk area to that before it's all said and done. And as far as Saturday into Sunday is concerned, we have a marginal risk for the western half of New York, central and western Pennsylvania, down through Virginia, North Carolina, across to Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and then back up northeastward toward Kentucky and Ohio. You also might wind up seeing slight risk being added here. Rainfall amounts this weekend. The further south the less you will get. Less than half an inch in southernmost New Jersey. You go north and west of there, you're looking at inch and a half plus amounts across Pennsylvania, 3/4 of an inch to some patches of an inch and a half in upstate New York and New England. Also, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half in general in parts of the Ohio Valley, although it's very uneven. You can see in Indiana, there's an area here of just about 1/4 of an inch. and it picks up again as you move up into Wisconsin and in Minnesota, and the precipitation amounts lessen up a bit as you head on to the west. As far as flash flooding is concerned, at least for today, we're looking at a slight risk in southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, western Kentucky, and southwestern Indiana. Tomorrow, a marginal risk that moves into Ohio and western Pennsylvania, southward into the Tennessee Valley. And then as we move on to Saturday, we see a marginal risk in New York State, uh, northwest New Jersey, Pennsylvania, down through the Appalachians and into Georgia and over into northern Alabama. As far as Ernesto is concerned, at 11 a.m., the advisory had it at 25 north, 69.2 west, closing in on Bermuda, probably going to pass very, very close to, if not over the island, sometime Saturday morning as a hurricane. The Hurricane Center's backed off turning this into a major hurricane because of the drier air that's come in. If it were going to strengthen rapidly, it probably would have done so already. It still might get a little stronger, but it may just get to below major hurricane status when it reaches Bermuda. Going to pass south and east of Nova Scotia, and then perhaps coming rather close to Eastern Newfoundland. We should point out that along the East Coast over the weekend, particularly on Sunday and going into Monday, we're going to have rough surf and dangerous riptides, pretty much from Maine all the way down into the Carolinas. So the GFS here today, the new one, you can see Ernesto on the right, the next low cold front to the left in the Great Lakes to the Mississippi Valley. We've got no issues here other than whatever pops up in New England this afternoon into this evening. Could see some isolated severe thunderstorms as we indicated from the risk area from the Storm Prediction Center. Friday looks good. Now, as far as the weekend goes, I think if you had to pick one of the two weekend days in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, probably Saturday will be the better of the two. The showers will probably hold off until late in the day, Saturday or Saturday night, and they may be more inland than coast. But then on Sunday, as that front nears the coast, we'll see more numerous showers and thunderstorms develop, particularly in the afternoon and evening. There might even be severe weather risk by the time we get to Sunday. And since that front is going to have to wait for Ernesto to get out of the way, we could see some more showers and thunderstorms with the upper trough moving through late Monday into Monday night. And it now seems that after that, we should see improving weather conditions, and the humidity, which will be going up this weekend, will be coming down for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So this week's been a good week as far as relatively low dew points have been concerned. So we may get a bit of a repeat performance next week. So don't forget, Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight, late start at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your afternoon.